Railways and railway building have played a large role in the development of Canada as a nation and is linked into Canada's national policy. This can be seen in four ways. First of all, Canada's first constitution, the British North American Act, included a guarantee that a railway would be built between central Canada and the Atlantic provinces. Secondly, one of the main reasons that encouraged Prince Edward Island to join Canada was for the government to take over the island's railway building debts. Prince Edward Island had tried to build their own railway in hopes to create jobs for the people, provide good transportation, and increase in tourism. However, their railway building led them into debt and almost bankruptcy. Thirdly, the settlement of Canadian West would not have occurred so quickly without the Canadian Pacific Railway. This railway was built from the east to the Pacific coast, and it played a large role in bringing settlers to the west. And last but certainly not least, the first political scandal in Canada's history involved railways. The scandal, known as the Pacific Scandal, involved John A. Macdonald's government being accused of inappropriate involvement in the building of the Canadian Pacific Railway. So, these four examples, the BNA's guarantee of the railway, Canada taking over Prince Edward Island's railroad building debt, the settlement of Canadian West with the railroad, and the Pacific Scandal show the significance of the railway in the development of Canada as a nation. Today we're going to be learning a bit more about the Pacific Scandal. Da 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 da, da 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 da. But first we need to ask, why did the Canadian government want to build a railroad that reached into the West? Why was it so significant? Why was it one of Canada's main goals? We've already discussed a bit of this in class, but there are two main reasons for building the Canadian Pacific Railroad that extended into the West. First of all, the Canadian government had promised British Columbia a railway when they joined Confederation in 1871. British Columbia had never asked for this, remember? They were just hoping to get a wagon trail through the mountains. However, this promised railway would connect British Columbia's Pacific coast to the provinces of eastern Canada. It was going to be a huge project with lots of challenges, but Canadian negotiators promised that construction would begin within 2 years and be completed within 10 years. And secondly, Canada also wanted to build the Canadian Pacific Railway to claim its presence in the West, so settlers from the US would less likely to move into Canadian land. The fear of manifest destiny was still present with the West. With these two reasons, the promise of a railway to British Columbia and making their Canadian presence known in the West, Macdonald's government wanted to start building right away. This meant that they needed a company who would be able to take on the job. Sir Hugh Allan, a Canadian businessman, was the man selected for the job. He was to lead the Canadian Pacific Railway Company and was given the contract on January 31st, 1873 to start building. Macdonald's government gave Allan the job, which meant that the House of Commons did not need to vote on the contract. Sir Hugh Allan had a very challenging task ahead of him, especially because of the geographic barriers that separated British Columbia from the rest of Canada, such as the Rocky Mountains. Building a railway through this mountainous terrain was going to be difficult, but Macdonald wanted to see the building get underway. Macdonald was the leader of the Liberal Conservative Party, and in the election of 1872, his party won far fewer seats than they had in 1867. Some of this was because of Canada's economy was pretty weak during the time, and many people blamed Macdonald's government for this. Also, many Francophone, French-speaking Catholics were upset with Macdonald's government because of Macdonald's handling of the Red River Resistance. And lastly, many Canadians were unhappy about the Washington Treaty signed in 1871, which was supposed to give Canada compensation or wealth for the damages caused by the Fenian raids after the American Civil War. Unfortunately, the treaty fell short and Macdonald was blamed for this too, even though it was Britain who mostly in charge of the Washington Treaty with the US. With the weak Canadian economy, the frustration of Macdonald's handling of the Red River Resistance, and the unsuccessful Washington Treaty for Canadians, Macdonald had a lot against him and he struggled to win the August 1872 elections. However, through some donations which helped him advertise and promote his party, he was able to pull ahead of the Liberal Party and win the election. So, in 1872, MacDonald and his Liberal Conservative Party won the election. However, MacDonald's victory didn't last for long. In 1873, there was a massive uproar in the House of Commons. A Liberal member of Parliament, the party that opposed MacDonald's, said that he had found evidence that Sir Hugh Allan had been given the Canadian Pacific Railway contract in return for political donations for $360,000.
What?
$360,000! In other words, the Liberals claimed that Hugh Allan was given the contract since he paid a huge sum of money to MacDonald's party. MacDonald had accepted dishonest and illegal funds from Sir Hugh Allan, which was money that had allowed MacDonald to succeed in Parliament. In return for the payments that MacDonald and his party received from Allan, Allan was assured that he would be awarded the contract to build the Canadian Pacific Railway. When the Liberals came across this evidence of the agreement between Allan and MacDonald, such as in a telegram from MacDonald which read, "I must have another 10,000. Will be the last time of calling. Do not fail me. Answer today." It was made public by opposition members of Parliament known as the Pacific Scandal.
Ooh.
Opposition parties, such as the Liberals, were furious with MacDonald's government. They were angry that MacDonald had accepted such funds and used it for his party's advancement. After 5 months of trouble, MacDonald appointed 3 judges to investigate the charges that were pressed upon him. The report came back to the House of Commons in November, and it did confirm that MacDonald's government had received money from Allan and his associates. MacDonald knew that he was in trouble, and that the House of Commons would likely take a vote to force MacDonald from office. MacDonald and his government decided to resign instead, which marked the end of his term in office.
Okay, bye.
For the time being, at least. With MacDonald no longer as Prime Minister, Canada was in need of a leader. Alexander Mackenzie, leader of the Liberal Party, was asked to take leadership. Alexander Mackenzie called for an election, and in January 1874, Mackenzie became the second Prime Minister of Canada.